This isn't a wish list or a collection of trendy products. This is a real working home studio that I use every day. And this is the story of how it came together. If you're thinking about building a home studio, upgrading your setup, and you're a DIY musician or composer working mostly on your own, this video is for you. After years of composing, recording, mixing, and mastering my own music, and releasing it on music platforms, I've learned through trial and error what truly matters in a personal production setup. Not long ago, I decided to completely rebuild my music studio. This video is a look into my personal journey of rebuilding the space where my music is created. Whether you're starting from scratch or refining an existing studio, my goal is to maybe inspire you, help you in your decision making in any way I can, and focus on what really matters: making music efficiently and creatively. Here's what we'll cover in this video. I'll start with the hardware behind my studio, then move into the software I use every day, and finish with a full overview and key takeaways. I hope this video helps you out whether you're recording live instruments, working in the box, or combining both. But first, time to say goodbye to the old studio. After more than 10 years of making music with the same gear, it was time to close a chapter. This studio served me well, but technology evolves, and so do creative needs. Before moving forward, I wanted to start with a clean slate. Before choosing any software or interface, everything starts with a solid computer. These are the core specs I decided were essential for my home studio going forward. I chose the Ryzen 9 9950X for its overall performance, but especially for its excellent single-core speed, which is critical for DAW performance and low latency workflows. 64 GB of RAM gives me enough headroom for large projects, heavy virtual instruments, and long-term use without bottlenecks. I'm running two separate SSDs, one for the operating system and one for files and projects, to keep everything running as efficiently as possible. Since I record in the same room as the computer, a silent case was non-negotiable. And finally, this is all running in a Windows environment. A quick side note here. I'm deeply invested in the Apple ecosystem for my personal life, and I truly believe they make outstanding products for music. But when it comes to music production, I've always preferred not being locked into a single ecosystem. This setup gives me flexibility and long-term control. Instead of building this PC myself, I decided to have it built by a local IT shop. I wanted to avoid spending weeks watching tutorials, troubleshooting, and dealing with uncertain results. I brought them my exact requirements, agreed on the specs and final price, and let professionals handle the build. While the PC was being built, I took the opportunity to clean, reorganize, and prepare the space for the new setup. For the audio interface, I went with a used SSL2 Plus, which I found on the local marketplace. I chose this interface for several reasons: excellent preamp quality, low noise, and a simple, affordable design. Connectivity is USB, which also powers the unit. Simple and reliable. I'm old school and I like having a physical knob for each function. That's one of the reasons I chose this over interfaces with a single multi-purpose control where mistakes can happen more easily. It gives me MIDI connectivity for my keyboard, two phantom-powered microphone inputs as well as line inputs. The dual headphone outputs are also a nice bonus if I'm tracking with another musician. It has a dedicated direct monitoring knob to eliminate latency when recording live instruments. And as a nice extra, the 4K button adds a subtle analog style coloration to the input, though I usually prefer adding effects later inside the DAW. Once everything arrived, it was time to put it all together. I connected the audio interface, MIDI keyboard, monitors, headphones, mouse, keyboard, and screen, bringing the studio back to life piece by piece. So I'm now on my computer, and now that my PC and my audio interface are connected, I'll walk you through my software setup and the tools I use to record, mix, and master music. The backbone of my studio is PreSonus Studio One. I've been using Studio One for almost 10 years now. I started with version 3, and at the time of this recording, we're already at version 7. I know there are plenty of great options available out there when it comes to DAWs or digital audio workstations, such as Cubase, Pro Tools, Logic Pro, and so on. However, I decided to stick with Studio One because it covers all my needs and more. It's very user-friendly, and the learning curve isn't too steep, even several versions later. This allows me to spend more time making music and less time dealing with technology. Since I'm making this video to help you with your decision making, whether you're building a home studio from scratch or simply upgrading your setup, I'll try to share some useful information with you. Let's start by heading over to the PreSonus website and opening the software section. Once you find Studio One Pro version 7 and decide to purchase it, you'll be presented with 3 options. The monthly and yearly plans keep you up to date with the latest features and updates. The third option is the perpetual license, which is the option I personally chose. So after filling out your personal information, securing your transaction, and creating a PreSonus account, you'll be able to access your products through the My PreSonus page. Let me show you a quick overview of what I currently have in my account. Let's go to the product page. You can register your products. And as I said, you see all your products. Recording software, naturally Studio One Pro 7. All the instruments I have, for example, Studio Grand, the piano, PreSonus Symphonic Orchestra, and a few more. There's also effects plugins such as Empire, Fat Channel, XT for mixing, delays, choruses, compression, etc. There are also third-party partner offers such as Arturia Distant Coldfire. Once you've confirmed that all your products are available, you can proceed with the downloads. And from that point on, the process is very straightforward, just like downloading and installing any other software on your computer. And that's it for Studio One. The next piece of software I want to talk about is a bundle that includes all the virtual instruments I'll be using. This software is offered by Native Instruments and it's called Complete 15. Most of you are probably already familiar with it. Just like Studio One, I've been using the complete bundle for a long time, and I find it to be a very comprehensive and high quality collection of virtual instruments as well as effects plugins. There are more than enough instruments included to create music in virtually any genre or style. Having upgraded from a much older version, I can honestly say that Native Instruments has added some fantastic new instruments over the years, and they sound great. Everything is designed to keep your creative ideas flowing. If you explore the complete product lineup, you'll see that there are several versions available. There's the Select, the Standard, the Ultimate, and the Collector's Edition. I personally chose the Complete Ultimate version, as it will easily cover my needs for many years to come. There is so much content included that I won't feel the need to constantly chase the latest and shiniest products on the market. For me, it's all about making music in the simplest and most efficient way possible. As I mentioned, Complete gives you an abundance of instruments for composition, plugins for sound design and mixing, and it also includes isotope tools, which I plan on using for mastering my projects. If we take a closer look, you'll see that this bundle offers sample instruments, drums and percussions, synthesizers, effects, and expansion sound packs. If you create an account, you will see your products and downloads. Similar to PreSonus Studio One, once you've made your purchase, everything is downloaded and managed through an application called Native Access. This app displays all your products in a very clear and organized way. One quick piece of advice here, make sure to set aside enough time and be patient during the download process. Especially if you choose the Ultimate version, it includes roughly 850 gigabytes of data. And that's it for my virtual instruments and plugins. Also, you will need to download the driver for your specific audio interface. In my case, I'm using an SSL2 Plus from Solid State Logic, and as you know, I bought it used, so upon purchasing on Marketplace, the seller kindly agreed to cancel his registration so that I could redeem mine with the specific serial number. Now it shows in my account on Solid State Logic under Hardware Products, and from there I could also download the driver for my computer. I opened up a demo I'm working on in Studio One just to give you an idea of the environment. On the left and center of the screen is the tracking information. On the right panel, you can see all the instruments that are now downloaded and available to me. If I sort them by vendors, you can see the Native Instruments bundle, the Complete 15 bundle, as well as the PreSonus bundle. Same thing for effects and plugins. The native plugins are here, and you can see the PreSonus plugin are available as well. As far as the audio interface setup, if I go into Song Setup, Options, you can see the SSL2 Plus is connected with a device block size at 128 samples. This is very important to reduce latency. The sample rate is 44.1 kilohertz. So the input latency is now down to 4.4 millisecond, output latency 5.5. So this is very acceptable to me. I'm now ready to roll and create some music. that wraps up the story of how I built my home studio. If you enjoyed this project or learned something new, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy music creation.